right, you know it's Wednesday. I'm on the road, so it's time for NFL Teirs and Tears. The funny thing is they're going back to Tampa Bay is a great team, and yada yada yada. But Tampa Bay's got 2 losses too, and their defense, you can't run on them, but you can pass them. And if it weren't for a missed field goal, they would have lost to New England. And I dare say New England is my team that you've got to watch. At first, my prediction on them, I kept saying, watch Bill Belichick and New England come back with a vengeance. Now, they're 5-4, 5-4, half game behind Buffalo. But the crazy thing is, they almost beat, like I said, Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay got a break with the missed field goal. They ended up giving that victory, as well as with their Cowboys. You saw, and people were like, "Oh, the Cowboys had a hard time with New England." Yeah, because New England's actually a good team. The funny thing is we look at some of the records. Some of the records are a little more inflated because of some of the victories that people have gotten. The final point here before we get onto this is, people are going to get off the Cowboys bandwagon and things, but here's the thing. Winning 6 games in a row, which is what the Cowboys did, I don't think there's any streaks that are anywhere close to that long this season. I think that is actually the longest winning streak. It's hard to win consistently in the NFL. It just is. The NFL is a beast. So when you look at Tampa Bay, who's on a bye week this week, I think they lost going into the bye week. You think of, Buffalo losing to the Jaguars. You think about the Rams with Matthew Stafford throwing an almost pick 6 to a pick 6 back-to-back within 20 seconds. And seeming like teams that are really physical, that punch the Rams in the mouth, have the way of getting underneath them and scoring. There's flaws on every single team. And the thing is week to week, it's going to change. So let's hear what they got to say.
We'll try to figure it out together. But we go from the bottom up as always. Show me the teams that don't really matter that much anymore. Where art thou, Kyle Shanahan? Feel like Cliff Kingsbury and his backup squad coach circles around you? Now, one team on here that feels good this week, Chicago Bears. I actually listened to the first hour of a Chicago local radio show yesterday, Parkins and Spiegel, just to take the temperature of the town after that Justin Fields stirring performance. Let me tell you this much, they're very excited. Bears fans are happy, but your team still stinks. Okay, now we get to teams that could make the playoffs, but yes, it's here. It's like, hey, if the playoffs start today, Falcons and Saints would be there. But do you believe in them? No. Broncos are 5-4. They are. Yeah, but do you believe in them? Get there? And the Seahawks, we got to wait and see when Russ comes back. By the way, so also could be called Nick Wright vindications here. Sean Payton agreed with me. Trevor Simeon's the only quarterback on the roster right now. That's why he started. And Falcons told that they'd make the playoffs start today. They'd be there. Okay, AFC down, AFC up. These are the 2 groups of teams that AFC arrow down, Bengals. They've 2 bad losses in a row. The Chargers had 2 bad losses, then escaped against Philly. The Raiders. What are you doing against the Giants? I know the Browns had a good win this week, but they've lost 3 of 5, and they did lose Odell, and now Chubb's on the COVID list. It's not going good. AFC arrow up. Would you believe the 4 longest winning streaks in the entire NFL are the Titans, and then these 3 teams? It pained me to have the Chiefs and the Patriots on the same tier. However, as of right now, that is where both teams deserve to be. And the Steelers, just Mike Tomlin, just finding ways to win with a quarterback without arms. It's unbelievable, but he's doing it. Okay, AFC favorites, in quotes. Because all these teams have nice records. What real question marks? The Titans' defense is awesome right now. Awesome. That D-line, those D tackles in particular, spectacular. Questions on how they're going to move the ball out Derrick Henry. The Bills, post-beating the Chiefs, have looked terrible. Blown out by Tennessee, escaped versus Miami, and of course the loss to Jacksonville. But their point differential is amazing. Their defense is good. You expect Josh Allen to play a little bit better. And the Ravens, after never being able to come back from double digits, they've now done it 4 times this year. But why are you down double digits so often? Why do you need overtime to beat the Vikings? Why do you need a 66-yard to beat Detroit? I don't understand. All right, NFC must win. Both these teams lost their most recent game. The Bucs obviously had a bye since then, but they both are in get-right spots. They play Washington and Atlanta this upcoming week. The Cowboys the next week have to face Kansas City in Kansas City. So both these teams, we're going to give them a little of a mulligan on their performances because the teams above them also lost this week. The Rams, that Rams game went away like this. This is the next tier. We can get to number one contenders. It was the Matt Stafford near pick six, followed by the Matt Stafford actual pick six. That game's over. And the Packers didn't have their quarterback. We still think those are 4 of the 5 best teams in football. And then LeVar, committee's got to give the Cardinals credit. You dominate a game where you don't have
your
Tyler, DeAndre Hopkins, AJ Green, and your starting running back gets hurt on the second play of the game. They have the best record in football. The defense is better than I thought it would be. They just won a game without Kyler, with Colt McCoy at quarterback. They check every box, and maybe, just maybe, I've been unfair to Cliff Kingsbury. I still reserve the right to go back after Cliff Kingsbury if it falls apart from it. But thus far, he's been good. So there it is. There's the tiers headed into Week 10, Lamar.
Listen, I always like your Teirs. I mean, the birthday cake look of it is amazing. It's tasty. But let me take a couple slices out of this bad boy for you, my friend. All right? Let's take a look at your team, Kansas City. There's no way Kansas City should be, and no pun intended, arrows up. They are arrows north and south right now. You know why? Well, not north, east, and west is what I want to say. Is because here's the thing. They're just kind of like parallel right now. They're like kind of just where they are. I don't look at this as an elite team right now, Nick. I really don't. So that makes me feel as though that Charger bolt underneath should be where arrow up is. They stumbled. They wobbled, but they haven't fallen down. This is a better team than Kansas City today. All right, Kansas City has not been impressive. They have eked their way to the wins they have right now. You beat a toothless Giants team. You beat a wounded and vulnerable Green Bay team. There's nothing about Kansas City right now that says we should be bragging and boasting about the arrows are pointing up for Kansas City. They got a lot to prove. And then I'm going to go here because I think Chargers should be on arrows up. I'm going to say that. But then I'm taking a look at, the Rams. All right? I don't trust them.
Thank you.
There is something about the Rams that makes me believe. And I'm going to tell you what I think it is, Nick. Here's the thing I think about them. This is what I felt after that Tennessee game. They can't deal with the smoke from an extra overly physical group. And until they show me they can handle the physicality of a team, then I'm going to always sit there and I'm going to feel as though that they're going to get into a game where you start to feel like, okay, it's the Rams. They're good. They're athletic. They got all these stars.
What do you think about that, Simba?
But they got to start winning physical games, and I got to see that first. So I think they're contenders, but I don't want to get carried away with that. I would put Tampa above the LA Rams right now if it were me. But other than that, I think your birthday cake of Teirs looks pretty good there, my friend.
Nobody's talking about Dallas.
So for the Rams, I do want to give them the benefit of the doubt on a couple things. One is they did make the major move for Von Miller. He didn't play this week. Let's see what he looks like. You know what I mean? Once he starts playing for them. And the other aspect is, if you throw 2 pick sixes, you lose. And I know in the stat book, it was only 1 pick six, but it was 2. The first one was returned to the 2-yard line. The second one was an actual pick six. So Stafford had done a good job taking care of the football up until the literal moment Michaels and Collins were talking about him taking care of the football. Then he started throwing those picks. Because all 4 of those teams have lost their most recent game. So it's kind of hard to juggle it. On the Chiefs, if we can just expand it again.
Oh, here we
go. Let me just explain. I understand the Chiefs weren't that impressive versus the Giants. But they were more impressive versus the Giants than the Raiders, who lost to the Giants. I understand the Chiefs played the Chargers, and they lost in the final possession of the game. Since then, though, the Chargers have lost to the Jets. They got blown out. Was it by the Bengals? They got blew out 2 weeks ago. And then, it wasn't by the Bengals. They had blown out their next game. And then last week, they needed a last-second field goal to beat the Eagles. Another team the Chiefs annihilated. And so I just think the Chargers had shown a lot of promise, and now they're stumbling back. I haven't been overly impressed by the Steelers or the Patriots either, the way you haven't been about the Chiefs, but they do just keep winning. And so at this point, I think the AFC is just a jumbled mess. And while the NFC Wilds, those 5 teams are going to be in the playoffs, and then it's going to be like, wait, the 8 and 9 Falcons are the 7th seed. The AFC, there's nobody great right now, but there's 10 teams plus a couple others. Broncos probably say they should be in it, who are still alive for the those 6, 7 playoffs spots.
It's true, isn't it, Simba?
Yeah, one would say when in the AFC with a lot of parity, perhaps the team that's won 3 in a row, and there are big losses where against the Saints, who have a great defense.
Here we go.
Cowboys, who are fantastic.
Here we go.
That's what I'm telling you.
See where he's
and one random loss to the Dolphins. They're coming though, LeVar. They're coming. Oh, wait till it shows up.
The Chargers
lost. But I'm not talking
the
about the
Chargers
Patriots.
loss that I couldn't remember. Wilds was to the Patriots.
Yeah.
When I said they lost to the Patriots.
Here's my thing. I'm telling you, watch New England. New England, because they were a field goal away from beating Tampa Bay. If they win that game, they're 6-3. They went to overtime with the Cowboys. They win that game, they're 7-2. New England is not far away, and Mac Jones is going to get better as the season goes on with Bill Belichick. I still don't trust the Bills. The Bills, I'm sorry, Josh Allen, I know he's the MVP candidate and all that. I don't trust the Bills at all. The Cowboys, I think, will right the ship and stuff. I think when you sit here and listen to them talk about the current longest streak of 4 games with the Steelers, Cowboys had 6 in a row. It's hard to have that many games consecutively as wins. And at some point, you're just due for a loss. And that's where the Cowboys were. We were due for a loss. Now, let's see if they can go on another streak. And my final point on here before I go in here, because I got to go to the bathroom, is think about Tampa Bay, who got blown out last November by New Orleans and lost 3 games in November. Come December, they got hot, and they rolled that right into a Super Bowl champion. They didn't even win their division. So watch out for New England. All right.